World of Final Fantasy, the lesser-known Final Fantasy game that came out last year, 2016, because Final Fantasy 15 came out. And it was also PS4 exclusive, so Xbox people didn't know about it. But it was another game that existed that I finally got around to playing, and it took a while to play. But overall, it was a pretty enjoyable experience. I don't know why I said that way. That was a weird way to talk. But it also got boring at a lot of parts. Now, this game, if you didn't know, it's kind of like, hey, let's make a very cute Final Fantasy game. It's the best way to explain it. It's like Pokemon meets Final Fantasy. You get these cute creatures, you get cute versions, cute chibi versions of other Final Fantasy characters, and they kind of come together and just makes it's like charming experience. The whole time you're playing, it's like, oh, this is jolly, this is charming. And the combat system's much more traditional. It's turn-based. There's like a semi-turn-based one you can turn on. I don't know why you do that. I just left it classic turn-based the whole time. And when you're playing, it's like, okay, this is fun. If you're the right level for where you should be, the combat or even a bit under-leveled. The combat's a perfect blend of being like somewhat challenging, need to use items every once in a while, need to know when to use certain commands, balance your AP. But the second you get over-leveled, or if you're under-leveled at all, the combat kind of falls apart in this game. If you're over-leveled, it just becomes kind of like a hassle. When you're playing like a Pokemon game, which is close to Pokemon, so compared to that, when you're over-leveled, it either feels awesome to just kind of destroy things in one hit, and you're like, hey, that was fun to just do that one hit and then be done. Or there are plenty of ways to avoid them. You can either use repels, or you can stay off of roads where you'll get attacked by Pokemon. And I think that's what this game was missing a lot, because at some points it just becomes a hassle to go back through old areas when you go through, or if you're just over level for the area, it's like, I know I can beat these, this isn't a challenge, and you're not giving me enough XP to make it worth grinding here, so that's what this missed. And then if you were under leveled at all, it was impossible to beat anything. Like, in a regular fight, if you do a hit, it would be, unless it's a boss, it'd be, like around a couple 100,000 points of damage. Where if you're under leveled, your attacks do less than 100, and it's just like it would take you 100 plus turns of doing the same attack and having to use items to keep your health up to be able to win. So it just the level of difficulty, the curve is just way off for this game, and the story itself, though seeing all these characters is charming, the main plot is very predictable, and I just couldn't care less half the time. I mean, the two characters have amnesia. You probably predict why they have amnesia. So you're like, oh, you just said all these negative things about this game. Why are you still being so positive? It's just because of how jolly it is and how cool the creature design is. I mean, it's creatures from past Final Fantasy games, but the way that they do the artistic take on this is very charming. The battle system, when it works, I enjoy. It just gets boring towards the end. So boring, in fact, that like I was going for the platinum, and I realized, like, just doing this is like, I'm literally putting auto battle on for these just because I just need to level these things up, and I had to stop. I gave up on the platinum because I couldn't think of anything I'd want to do less than just sit there and basically watch paint dry. I was listening to podcasts and I was still bored. So maybe you'll care about the story more than I personally didn't care. I just thought it was jolly when it was working. The like first 18 levels of the game go by pretty quick, and it's like, okay, you're giving me these small story seeds, very very cute, very charming, and then it just like levels 19 to 21, and then the postscript just all kind of felt like level 13 for for Final Fantasy 15, if you know what I'm talking about, where you're alone level. So this is definitely the weaker of the Final Fantasy games comeback, but it was a good callback to classic Final Fantasies, more turn-based, and if you like the turn-based, it's good for a little bit. You can customize your team, but basically once you get a team in set, you use that team the rest of the game, just because the way the leveling works, they catch up to your level pretty quick, and then when you add other people in, they're always like 20 levels behind, so it just wouldn't work. Yeah, it was fun at times and boring at times, but I would never say bad at times. So why I'm going to give this an enjoyable 6 out of 10. I do recommend playing it if you're missing kind of like a turn-based Final Fantasy game. It's very Pokemon-esque, not as good as Pokemon, and it was charming. It's jolly charming. I like those words because it fits this game perfectly. Hopefully they'll do a better version of this kind of game in the future, because God knows we're not getting Final Fantasy 16 for another 10, 15 years, so we need to get a different kind of Final Fantasy game, or just make Tactics again. Everyone like Final Fantasy Tactics. What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? Let me know down below. I think mine might actually be 15. I really enjoyed the world aspect of it. Definitely not the best story, but there are a lot of good things to like in 15, if not probably 9 or 7 or 10. There's good ones, 3. Yeah, let me know what yours is down below. Please like, share, and subscribe as always. See you guys next time.